Welcome to the summer 2023 DoomSmog updated preview. Before we begin, I would like to give a huge thanks to Mina Nina and Impervum from War Dragons for making these images. Now, without further ado, let's go over the dragon spells. Going by alphabetical order, we will first be starting with the Mythic Dark Hunter Cogclaw. The first spell is called Steam Cloak. It is a white spell that costs 1 rage. You will cloak for 1.5 seconds, gain 33% ammo, and fly at 25% speed. After the duration, you will deal 14% damage to nearby towers. The duration is 1.5 seconds and the cooldown is 0. The next spell is called Featherblade. It is a white spell that costs 2 rage. It is a one-shot spell that deals 25 times the attack power of the dragon to a radius of 3.3. It also heals 15% of max HP on cast. The cooldown is 8 seconds. So you can think of this as a healing Deathgaze spell. The next two spells are the toggle spells, Crank Up and Unwind. Crank Up is a white spell that costs 1 rage. It increases breath damage by 150% for 3 seconds. There is no cooldown. It then toggles to the red spell Unwind, which costs 1 rage. It does AoE damage that is equivalent to 10% of the dragon's max HP. It also freezes surrounding towers for 3.5 seconds. The cooldown for this spell is 2 seconds. Lastly, we have the dragon's passive spell Draconic Automation. It increases rage generation by 60%. And here's a quick overview of the ruins, glyphs, and portrait that will come with this dragon. Next, we will be going over the Mythic Fire Sorcerer Ifrit. The first spell we will be covering is called Firewall. It is a white spell that costs 2 rage. The dragon will cloak for 3 seconds and can use spells while it is cloaked. The duration is 3 seconds and the cooldown is also 3 seconds. The next spell is a white spell called Wingfire Cannon. It costs 1 rage. It is a one-shot spell that does 125 times the attack power to a radius of 3.3. The cooldown is 2 seconds. Next, we have a pretty confusing trio of spells, Rev, Overclock, and Overheat. Starting with Rev, it is a white spell that costs 0 rage. It restores 1 rage and has to be cast 3 times to switch to the second spell. The duration is 1 second, as is the cooldown. Next, we transition to Overclock, which is a white spell that costs 3 rage. You dodge non-beam attacks and super shots. You also do 16% of max HP AoE damage for every 5 seconds that the spell is active. Additionally, you also are presented with plus 10% fly speed. The duration is 3 seconds and the cooldown is 1 second. Lastly, we move on to the third spell of the trio, Overheat. It is a white spell that costs 0 rage. The spell also shows that there is minus 100% rage generation for 5 seconds. Hopefully this is a glitch and then it's actually plus 100% rage generation for 5 seconds. As the duration suggested, it is 5 seconds and the cooldown is 4 seconds. Lastly, we have the passive spell Efficiency. It increases base breath damage by 500% and the maximum targets is 2. Given that a sorcerer can shoot 3 breath attacks at once, I assume that this maximum target's 2 means that only 2 of those 3 breath attacks can actually get this plus 500% breath damage increase. As shown before for the hunter, here are the ruins, glyphs, and portrait that'll come with the sorcerer. The next dragon we will be discussing is the Mythic Wind Invoker Quabel. The first spell I will be going over is called Clockwork. It is a blue spell that costs 1 rage. It allows you to gain 3 rage, net plus 2. I'm not exactly sure what that means. And it additionally heals your dragon for 15% of its max HP on building destruction. The duration is 4 seconds as well as the cooldown. The next spell is Torrent of Steam. It is a white spell that costs 0 rage. It increases your breath damage by 200% for 3 seconds. The cooldown is 1 second. The next spell is Tension Wings. It is a white spell that costs 2 rage. It allows you to dodge non-beam attacks and super shots for 3 seconds. It also does 4% of your max HP as AoE damage and instantly reloads your ammo clip by 100%. The duration is 3 seconds and the cooldown is 5. The second to last spell is called Wind Gust. It is a white spell that costs 1 rage. It destroys all mid-air projectiles and stuns nearby towers for 1 second. The last spell is its invoke passive spell, Turbine Gale. This spell does 20% of max HP AoE damage to nearby towers. As seen with the others, here are the ruins and glyphs, as well as the portrait for the invoker. Finally, we have our discount dragon, the legendary Earth Warrior Gultuk. The first spell is Earth's Judgment. It is a white spell that costs 1 rage. It is a one-shot spell that does 100 times the dragon's attack power to a radius of 3.3, and it heals 10% of max HP on cast. The cooldown is 5 seconds. The next spell is Stealth Tactics. It is a blue spell that costs 1 rage. It allows you to cloak for 2.5 seconds and makes the fly speed 25%. After the duration, you gain plus 100% breath damage for 2.5 seconds, and you also do 10% of your max HP as AoE damage. The duration is 2.5 seconds, and the cooldown is 2. Next, we have Honed Fury, which is a white spell that costs 1 rage. It gives you plus 200% breath damage for 4 seconds. The duration is 4 seconds and the cooldown is 3. Lastly, we have a very confusing passive spell. It is called Bred for War. It says Dragon's Breath attack is faster and larger. Given this is a warrior, neither of these make sense. I honestly would guess that Bred for War just increases your general attack and maybe some of your rage generation. Hopefully PG will look at this Bred for War spell and correct as needed. As has been done with the rest, here are the ruins, glyphs, and portrait that will come with the warrior.